Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. In this recording, inshallah, we will continue the remaining part of our lecture. It's going to be short, inshallah, and easy. We are going to revise the concept of static class member and the static and know what's the static import. So we talked about the static class member. We said that inside of a class, we may have a static variable or we have a static method. تمام? For the static variable, if my class has a static variable, it means that once I create the class, this variable will be created also in the memory, and all the objects created from that class can share this static variable. So this is why it's a class-wide information, and all the class objects can share the same data. For the method, the static class method, it is also shared between all the members. If I want to use or access the static method inside a class, I don't also need to create an object. I can only or can easily access the member name or the method using the class name. So to remind ourselves of this concept, we're going to take an easy basic class. This is a class which called employee. The class employee has one static variable, which is int count, which means once this class has been loaded into the memory, then this will be created inside the memory, and the value of count will be 0 because I've assigned 0 to it. So I have two instant variable only will be created when I create an object of the class employee. I have the constructor, and inside the constructor, increment of the count and assignment of these value of these two instant variables and a print statement. I also have a method called getFirstName, another method called getLastName, and a method which is a static method which called getCount. This method can be accessed without creating an object. It can be accessed using the class name, which is employee. If I want to use the getCount, I can use it like this: employee dot getCount directly. Why directly? Because it's a static method. So this is the definition of our class employee. Let's go to our main class. In the main class, we have our main method. Inside the main method, I first printed system.out.print, print for me a formatted text. The first is print the statement employee before initiation. So I have printed employee before initiation. Then I want to print a digit, number, and after the number, please go to a new line. طيب. From where would I get this number? From calling employee.getName. GetName is the static method which I can directly access using the class name employee. So let's go back. So this is the method getCount. The only thing it does is return the value of count. How much is the value of count? Is 0. It's already initiated because it's a static variable and it already have the value 0. So this over here will print 0. So 0. Okay. Now I have created my first variable out of the class employee. The first object, from the class employee. It's called E1. So this is E1. E1 will have how many instant variable? 2, which is first name and last name, and both of them are going to be strings. So first name and last name. Using this, I will be calling the constructor for the class employee having the name Susan and Baker. So what is my constructor? This is my constructor over here. Sorry. So this is a constructor over here. Let's have another color. This is my constructor. Okay, so when I go back, we can see it easily. The only thing it will does, or the first thing that it will does, it will take the first name and put it inside here, and the last name, and we'll put it here. So here we're going to be Susan, and here is going to be Baker. Right. What's next? Then I will increase count by 1. So count now, and instead of 0, we're going to be 1. Then I want to print for me a formatted text. First, print the statement employee constructor. So I have printed employee constructor. Then what? Then print for me a formatted text. The first formatted string or text is going to be, to know what's going to be in here, look for the first comma. So the first comma is here. Then this is the first string that will go over here instead of the S. And this is the second value that will be going here instead of the second S. So the first S, we're going to print the first name, which is here. Look at it. Susan. So Susan is printed. And then the last name, which is Baker. Not finished. Then print for me count. طيب. And count will be equal to digit, and then go to a new line. What is the digit that will go in here? Is the digit that is inside count. How much is inside the constant variable now? The constant count now, the value is 1. So 1 is inside count. So this means I'm going to print count equal to 1. Very easy, very straightforward. Let's continue. First, let's take some of these خبيط so you can focus. Now, creating another object called E2. This object is also from class employee. It has 2 instant variables, which are first name and last name, and we are sending Bob and Blue. So I'm sending now here Bob and Blue. The first name will have Bob, and the second name will have Blue. So let's fill it. We filled it. Then we are increasing count by 1. So count is now 2. See how can this E1 object was able to access the count variable, and also E2 was able to to access the count variable. Why? Because it's a shared variable that all of the other objects can use. Right. Let's continue. Now, count is 2. I want to print for me employee constructor. So I printed employee constructor. Then please print for me the first name and the last name. The first name is Bob. The last name is Blue. Then I want you to print what's inside count. The value inside count now is equal to 2. Easy peasy. Let's continue. Now, another printing statement. Print system.out. Print a formatted text. First, go into a new line. Then print for me employee after initiation, and then go into a new line again. So I skipped the line, and then I printed the statement, and then I skipped to a new line. Then what happened? Print for me system.out.print via e1.getCount. So this is a text that I want to print. So I print it via e1.getCount. Then I want to print the value of e1.getCount. Put the value that this method will create or will return is an int value, so an integer. This is why I'm using d over here, because the value that will be returned is going to be an int. Right. Let's concentrate a little bit here. I am calling getCount. Sorry. I'm calling getCount. And getCount is this method over here, my static method. So this static method can be called using the class directly, the name of the class directly, like what we did over here. And also can be accessed using the object itself. So this way will give us the same result. What is the same result? Is the value that's inside this variable over here, which is count. So let's go back. Please bring back e1.getCount. GetCount will print for me the value inside count, and the value inside count now is 2. So 2. This is for E1. Look what happened when we go to E2. I want you to print now via E2.getCount. So printing via E2.getCount. Then using the object to E2, please call .getCount. So .getCount, I want you to return the count, which is also 2. Both of the objects E1 and E2 access the exact same variable, which is count. Because it's a static variable, so it's a shared variable that all the object can access. Right. So this is the output. Now let's go into another line. Please print for me via employee.count. I will print this line. So I printed this line over here, and then go and call employee.count. Again, calling the same static method, but this time I'm not using the object. I'm not using the objects. No, I'm using the class name, because as I said, if I have a static method, you can access it either by using the objects that were created from the class or the class name itself directly. So now I have accessed the getCount using the class name. It will do the exact same thing, which is returning what's inside count. The value inside the count is still 2. So this is 2. See? We printed the same value in 3 different ways. All of them will have access to count that will return the same value, which is 2. Right. More printing. The last printing line is system.out.print. Print for me employee1, then a string. What is a string that will come and be printed here? e1.getFirstName. And then another string, which is e1.getLastName. So go back to E1 and bring me getFirstName. So return the first name, and then go to getLastName and return the last name. Inside which object? Inside E1. So print Susan and print Baker. So I printed Susan and Baker. Then new line. So go on a new line and print employee2 as a text. So employee2. Then what? Here, I wanted to print a string. What is the string? The string is going to be from here. e2.getFirstName. What is e2? e2, so this object e2, get first name. This is the first name, which will return the first name. The first name here is Bob. So I'll print Bob. Then another, I want a space, so we left a space. Then another s, another string. Where is the string? Will come from e2.getLastName. e2.getLastName will call this one. What is inside the last name is Bob. So this is going to be printed, and then a new line. I'll go into a new line, and the class has finished, and the program, all the program has finished. Inshallah, يكون the idea is clear and everything is clear. I tried as my best to walk line by line, so you can understand exactly what's happening between the lines of the code. طيب. Look at this example over here. The static keyword can be used inside the class like this, with a variable or with the method. We can also use the static when we are importing packages. For example, here I am importing import java.lang.math.sqrt, which is the square root of a number. The math is the class. Square root is the method inside the class math that you are going to call in order to have the square root of a number. طيب. The methods inside this class are usually static. So when I importing this method, in order to use it in my code, since it's a static method, you need to access it using the class name. Where is the class name? Is math. So if I want to use sqrt, I'm going to say math.sqrt and then the number I want. Exactly like what I've done here with the class employee. The name of the class and then the name of the method. However, there is a shorter form that you can do. What is the shorter form? They say, if you wrote import and then static, you had the word static here, and then java.lang.math.sqrt, it means that you are no longer required to write the class name when you want to use the method. You can use the method directly like this, sqrt25. If you import the package using the static keyword. So using the static keyword, you are no longer required to use the class name when you need to use the method inside of it. So this is what is written over here. A static import declaration enable you to import the static member of a class or an interface, and we will learn about the interface, I think, next lecture or the lecture after. So you can access them via their unqualified names in your class. So without using the class name. That is the class name and the dot. So what I mean by so you can access them via their unqualified names, it means that I can access them without using the class name and without the dot. Exactly like here. I access the math without the math name, just I wrote square root and then the number I want. So they are not required anymore when you are using an import static member. A static import declaration has two forms. When you're using a static import declaration, it has two forms. The first form look like this. One that imports a particular static member. So I will say import static package name, class name, and then the static name member, like this. If I want to use the method that's called sqrt, I'm going to say import static, the package name, and then the class name, and then the method. There is also another way, which is like this. import static java dot lang dot star semicolon. What does the star mean over here? It means I am not just importing one method, I am importing all the static methods that are inside. Sorry, I forgot something. I forgot the math. Math dot star and then semicolon. So it means the star means here that I am not importing one method, like over here, you are just importing this QRT. No, you are importing all the static methods that are inside the math class. The math class has a lot of methods, not just this QRT. If you want to use them all inside your class, instead of writing the import statement more than once, import security, import Siri, import whatever are the methods name. You are just going to write the import statement only once and put a star over here. So this is what has been written here. One that imports all the static members of the class using the star. Import static and then the package name dot the class name and then star. It means please import all the static methods inside the class, this class. Example. Here I have import static java.lang.math. So here I have imported all the static method inside the math class. So inside my code, I said system.out.print, print for me the square root of the number 900. So if I just go and call the method square root that are inside the math class directly like this, then this is correct and the output will be 30. Another line, system.out.print, please print for me the output of Siri minus 9.8. So this is another static method that is inside the math class. I did not need to import the name exactly because I have used a star. It means I'm importing all of the method inside the math class. So this is the output. Also, there are other static members inside the class math. The other static members are E, which is and by, which are some numbers. We always know that the E is equal to 2.71 and the by is always equal to 3.14. So these are fixed numbers. So these are fixed variable, static variable. So static variables inside the class math. When you use the star, you imported all the static variables and methods inside the class math, and you can use them directly in your code whenever you need them. Very easy. Okay. Like final statement, we also learned about the final statement. The final keyword means that indicate that the variable is not modifiable. If you declare a variable with a final keyword, it means that the value inside this variable can't be changed anymore in your code. Any attempt to modify the final variable will result in error. And I think, you had one of your assignments about using the final keyword. So we have here defined a final integer increment, and the number is 5. So the increment variable will always have the value 5 inside of it. You can never ever change the value of 5. Trying to change it will cause an error. So this will declare the variable increment as a constant, and if it's a constant, it means its value will never be changed. But just a reminder of the final. Let's take an example. You have a class called Bike 9. You have created a speed limit variable and give it the value 90. And then you have this method that does not return anything and called run. Inside the main, you have created an object from the Bike 9. So that's my object, which has one variable, instant variable, which is 90. And then you want object.run. So object.run means that you are going to call this. When you called run, inside run, you tried first to change the speed limit value to 400. And because it was defined with the final keyword, you can never change it. So this will reduce a compile time error. Okay. Last thing in this class is creating packages. Always think of the package as a folder. The package, for me, when I started to learn a package, to make the concept easier for me to understand, I think of it as a folder that organize your Java classes together. So the package, it's like a folder that will hold group of classes together. Okay. So a package is a group of related classes and interfaces, and I said interfaces, we'll learn about them inshallah later on. Why do we like to use packages? Because it helps manage complexity of application component. What does that supposed to mean? It means that by using a package, you are putting a group of classes that are related inside one package. So you are making your program and your coding less complex. It will facilitate software reuse. It means whenever you need to use the classes inside this package, you just need to write the import statement and import the package you need instead of writing all the classes from the scratch by yourself. When you define a package, it usually needs to follow a convention of unique class names. So it needs to follow a way of naming the package. Usually, the way they like to name the package is by package naming convention. It's the reverse internet domain name. What do I mean by that? For example, if I have a package, or let's think of it as a website. If you have a website and the website is called detail.com, that's a website. Right? That's a domain. That's an internet domain name, detail.com. If you want to make this as a package name in your Java, you just need to reverse it. What does reverse it look like? Like this. com.detail. We usually do this in Java. We use a reverse internet name domain. If I have, for example, if you have a website called, or a domain called like SEU.com, that's your university domain. Right? If you want to transfer university domain into a package, the only thing you need to do is just reverse it. com.seu. Easy peasy. This is usually the naming convention we like to follow when you create a new package and you want to give it a name. Why do we do a reverse domain name? Because in this way we guarantee that all the packages will have a unique name and the packages will not clash afterward in your code. Let's take an example, easy and quick. I want to create a package. My package that I will create. To create a package, you need to use the keyword package. So I create a package. My package has only one name. So back, I called it back, semicolon. Inside this package, I will define a class, and the class has a name A. Inside the class A, I only have one method, which called message. This method needs to print a message, which is hello. That's all. That's it. So I have a package. Inside the package, I have only one class, and inside this class, I have only one method. So this is one program. Another program, I want to use this package. So what are we going to do? I created another package. This package called my back. Inside my back, I have imported back, which is this package, not just like this. I said back.star. It means please import for me this package and all of the methods and classes which were defined inside this package. I only have one class, which is A, so it will be imported. Now, I have defined a class called B. And inside the class called B, I have my main method. Inside the main method, I have defined an object from the class A. Can I do that? Yes, I can do that. Why? Because this package imported the class A. Since it's imported, so I can use it. It will define, as I said, object of the class A. This is my object. It doesn't have any instant variables. It only has one instant method. So object.message will call this method over here, and this method over here will only print hello on the screen. So this is the output. Hello. Okay, that's it. So we finished this finally. If you have any question, if you have any problem, please send me an email or ask me during the lecture time. I'll be inshallah available always to help. Thank you for listening.